At the very beginning of the 20th century, the contradictions between the great powers escalated to the maximum. The fact is that the newly formed German Empire felt left out, since it practically did not get colonies, and Britain and France, of course, were not going to share. Even despite the fact that the rulers of the three great powers of the British, German and Russian empires, George V, Wilhelm II and Nicholas II were cousins to each other, everyone perfectly understood that war was inevitable. As early as 1882, the Triple Alliance was formed, which, in addition to the German Empire, included Austria, Hungary and Italy. Knowing full well the scale of the upcoming war, Wilhelm II, in order to increase the chances of success, invited the Russian Emperor Nicholas II, with whom he had friendly relations due to family ties, to enter into a tripartite alliance. Nicholas II refused because by that time he had managed to conclude an alliance with France and Britain. In 1907, the Triple Entente was finally formed, created as a counterweight to the tripartite alliance, which included France, the British and Russian empires. From that moment on, both military blocs began preparations for the upcoming war. The reason for the start of the conflict was the assassination on June 28, 1914 in Sarajevo of the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Franz Ferdinand. Since the fatal shot was fired by the Bosnian Serb Gavrilo Princip, who was a member of the Mlada Bosna organization, which fought for the creation of Greater Serbia, Austria-Hungary issued an ultimatum to Serbia. In turn, Serbia, which did not want to start a war, was ready to accept all the conditions of the ultimatum except for one, which involved the participation of Austrian representatives in the investigation of the murder at Sarajevo. On July 28, 1914, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, after which Austrian troops invaded Serbia, and artillery began shelling Belgrade. In response to this, the Russian Empire, which came to the defense of the Balkan Slavs, began on July 29 to mobilize in the military districts bordering Austria-Hungary. In turn, Germany, knowing full well that Austria-Hungary simply had no chance against the Russian army, demanded that the Russian Empire stop mobilization, but on August 1, when it was refused, it declared war on it. August 3, Germany declares war on France, an ally of the Russian Empire. In turn, the British Empire on August 4, 1914 declares war on Germany. On August 6, after Germany, Austria-Hungary declared war on the Russian Empire. Thus, within 1 week, all the great powers of that time were drawn into the confrontation, and only Italy, which was a member of the Triple Alliance, refused to support Germany in Austria-Hungary, deciding to see how events would develop. After the start of the confrontation between the great powers, the Ottoman Empire, which was greatly influenced by the German Empire, began to take active steps. On October 16, ships of the Ottoman fleet fired on the cities of Odessa, Sevastopol, Feodosia and Novorossiysk. Already on October 20, the Russian Empire declares war on the Ottoman Empire and the transfer of detachments of the Caucasian army to the Ottoman border begins. So by this moment, 2 of the 3 army corps stationed in the Caucasus had already been transferred to the Eastern Front. The commander of the Caucasian Front had to act with the remaining forces. On the night of October 20, Russian detachments crossed the Ottoman border and launched an offensive on a wide front from the city of Oltu to Mount Ararat towards the city of Koprukoy. At the initial stage of the offensive, it developed quite successfully and the Russian detachments managed to occupy the cities of Koprukoy, Gyudin and Bayazet. On October 26, the Ottomans managed to bring up additional forces and launch a counteroffensive. As a result of the counteroffensive, the Ottomans managed to recapture the city of Koprukoy and push back the Russian units in this sector of the front to the city of Sarikamish, around which a fierce battle ensued. Also, the Ottoman units, with the support of the local Muslim population, managed to occupy the proud Artvin and create a bridgehead for the attack on Batum. Deciding to develop success in the Sarikamish direction, the Ottoman troops were able to push back the Russian troops on December 10 and occupy the city of Olta. Already on December 13, the battle began on the streets of the city of Sarikamish. Under the onslaught of a numerically superior enemy, on December 15, the commander of the Sarikamish garrison left the city, after which it passed into the hands of the Ottoman troops. Against the backdrop of the successes of the Ottoman army, the Agarians rebelled against the power of the Russian Empire, as a result of which most of the Batumi region came under the control of the Ottoman Empire. Developing success, the Ottoman army on December 17 establishes control over the city of Ardahan, and also captures the railway lines, thereby cutting off the Caucasian army from Kars. The Ottoman army could not advance further, as it encountered fierce resistance from the Russian detachments that had retreated earlier from Sarikamish. At this time, General Yudenik was appointed the new commander of the Caucasian army, who regrouped the army, after which the Russian detachments launched a counteroffensive. The rapidly advancing Russian army managed to break the resistance of the Ottomans and recapture the cities of Artvin and Ardahan, as well as restore railway communication with Kars. The Ottoman army found itself in a difficult situation, having suffered serious losses in the vicinity of Sarikamish. It was forced to retreat, and Armenian partisans were actively operating in its rear. Taking advantage of the retreat of the Ottoman army, the Russian detachments, without meeting a serious one, returned control over the city of Oltu and the Batumi region. The Ottoman command, after the defeat near Sarikamish, decided to disarm all Armenian units and transfer them to construction battalions. Historians claim that many disarmed Armenian soldiers were executed, after which accusations began to be heard against the Armenian population that they had gone over to the side of the Russian Empire, because of which the Third Ottoman Army was defeated. It was these accusations that became the pretext for starting the persecution of the Armenian population throughout the Ottoman Empire. At this time, events began to actively develop in Iran. Despite the fact that the local Shah declared neutrality immediately after the outbreak of the World War I, Russian and British detachments were brought into his country to prevent Iran from going over to the side of the Ottoman Empire. During the offensive of the Ottoman units on Sarikamish, the commander of the Russian army in Iran ordered his troops to retreat from Tabriz. The retreat of the Russian troops inspired the Iranian Kurds, who went over to the side of the Ottoman Empire, thanks to which on January 1, 1915, the Ottoman units captured Tabriz without encountering much resistance, but did not last long in the city. Already on January 17, 1915, Russian Cossack detachments, with the support of the Armenian squad, drove the Ottomans out of Tabriz, and by the end of April of this year they managed to completely oust the Ottoman army from northern Iran. In May 1915, Russian detachments under the command of General Charpentier occupied the city of Urmia and began moving to help the Caucasian army in the direction of Lake Van. On October 17, 1915, the army of the Russian Empire landed troops in the port of Anzali and began moving towards the city of Kazvin. Also, by the end of the year, Russian units occupied the city of Qom and entered Tehran for a while. The actions of the Russian army prevented Iran from entering the war on the side of the Ottoman Empire and Germany and thus secured the left flank of the Caucasian army. After the retreat of the Ottoman army from the vicinity of Sarikamish in the province of Van, clashes began to occur between the Armenian self-defense forces and representatives of the local authorities. Already on April 14, the Armenian population of the city of Van raised an uprising. To suppress the uprising, Ottoman detachments of 12,000 soldiers approached the city. Despite the fact that the number of defenders of the city was only 6,000 people, the Ottomans failed to quickly take it by storm. On May 18, advanced detachments of the Russian army approached the city and the Ottoman army had to hastily leave the vicinity of the city and the boundaries of the province of Van. By the beginning of summer, the Ottomans managed to restore the Third Army, which had been defeated near Sarikamish. The intelligence of the Russian army worked very poorly, so the appearance of additional Ottoman forces at the front came as a complete surprise to her. Not knowing that the enemy had received reinforcements, the Russian army again went on the offensive and by mid-June, she managed to take the city of Manzikert. At this time, the Ottoman army, having received fresh forces and secured a 3 full numerical superiority, launched a counteroffensive in the Manzikert and Van directions. The Ottoman counteroffensive at the initial stage turned out to be quite successful, since the left flank of the Caucasian army was forced to retreat under their onslaught, leaving the cities of Van and Sevan. On July 13, the retreating Russian detachments, which provided cover for the Armenian refugees, had to leave Manzikert. Having left the province of Van, the Russian army took up defense and began to pull up reserves for the upcoming attack. On January 1, 1916, the Russian army again went on the offensive towards the city of Koprukoy. The Ottomans were not ready to attack in this direction, which is why the Russian troops managed to quickly break through their defenses. On January 4, the commander of the 3rd Turkish Army ordered the destruction of food and ammunition, after which he ordered his troops to begin retreat towards the city of Erzincan. In the evening of the same day, the Russian army occupied Koprukoy, left by the Ottomans. Due to the fact that Yudenik did not manage to organize the pursuit of the enemy in time, the Russian detachments failed to defeat the 3rd Ottoman Army. The Russian army continued its offensive, and on February 3, it managed to take the city of Erzurum. This time, Yudenik managed to organize the pursuit of the retreating enemy in time and inflicted serious losses on the Ottomans. At the same time, success was also accompanied by success in other sectors of the front of the Russian army. It managed to occupy the cities of Mush and Bitlis. On February 23, 1916, the Russian army managed to occupy the city of Rize, in which there were significant food supplies, and begin preparations for an offensive against the city of Trebizond, the occupation of which made it possible to gain a foothold in the interior of Anatolia. On April 1, the Ottoman army attacked the left flank of the Russian positions in the direction of Trebizond. Despite initial successes, the Ottoman attack quickly bogged down and the Russian troops began to push them towards Trebizond. In the face of the advancing enemy, the Ottoman troops began to retreat from Trebizond, and on April 5 the city fell into the hands of the Russians. In mid-April, the Ottomans, having received reinforcements, launched an attack on the left flank of the Caucasian army, planning an attack on the city of Bitlis. At the initial stage, the Ottomans managed to push the Russian troops back from their positions, but by the beginning of June their offensive had stopped. By this time, the Dardanelles operation was completed and the Ottoman command was able to transfer additional forces to the Caucasian front. By this time, the Russian command had completed all preparations and the Russian army launched an offensive. The offensive of the Russian army developed successfully, and on July 12 it managed to occupy the cities of Erzincan and Kelkit. As a result of the rapid attack of the Russian troops, the 3rd Ottoman Army was completely defeated, because of which the Ottomans lost the opportunity to conduct offensive operations in this direction. Also on July 12, the Russian army launched an offensive in the Ognat direction. On July 19, it was able to capture the city of Ognat. The successful offensive of the Russian army forced the 2nd Ottoman Army, which received serious reinforcements, but did not have time to complete the regrouping, to launch a counteroffensive. The attacking Ottoman troops were able to drive out the Russian troops from the cities of Ognat, Bitlis and Mush. In early August, the Russian army received reinforcements, which, after regrouping, launched a counteroffensive. The Russian detachments managed to quickly break the resistance of the Ottomans, for whom the counterattack of the Russian troops came as a complete surprise and returned the previously abandoned cities of Bitlis, Mush and Ognat. By September, decay began in the Ottoman army. Due to illness and food shortages, Ottoman soldiers deserted en masse. It would seem that the fate of the Caucasian front is a foregone conclusion, but in February 1917, as a result of the revolution, a provisional government came to power, whose actions led to the complete disintegration of the Russian army. And in October 1917 there was a second revolution, after which the Russian army ceased to exist as a single entity. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell.